But you mentioned Shreyas Doshi earlier. He says about the three types of product leaders, the visionary, the craftsman, and the operator. I see a huge amount of operator product leaders who honestly just install red tape. They lack creativity, and they're just real process people that hold things up. And they come in at Series C, and they kind of just churn 2 years at a stellar company, 2 years at another stellar, and they're just not very good. Do you agree with my assessment there of this rise of this kind of operator product leader?
So I've also heard Shreyas describe this, which I absolutely love, but there's a whole dimension to this. In fact, I'm going to write an article and I'm going to ask him to review it that he doesn't talk about, but it gets to what you're describing. And I think this is huge because in general, those three buckets are right. There's a whole dimension though, which is there are two kinds of operational people. There are those that believe in operation or scale, really, what this is usually about, with process, and those that believe in scale with coaching. The problematic behaviors that you're describing, which, by the way, you are spot on, and I hate to say this because I absolutely love Europe, but it's a bigger problem in Europe than it is in the U.S.
Agreed.
So, and the reason is because so many of those people are process people.
Yeah.
They really are, and they don't understand. And I've been sharing all these quotes from people they respect, like Elon Musk says, in big companies, process becomes a substitute for thinking. Or Bezos describing, be very careful because process ends up controlling everything. Steve Blank talking about process people taking over. Steve Jobs talking about process people taking over and no good product people want to work there anymore. I mean, this is such a serious disease and it has killed so many companies, but not just in Europe, I mean, all over. But this is, for some reason, process is especially attractive to Europeans. You might have a better theory for why than I have.
I think it's because we lack self-confidence more, actually. And I think process gives you a structure with which you can point to, and it gives you something to rely on other than pure intuition and gut.
Maybe it's a confidence thing. I mean, I see some companies like Spotify has done fabulous, and they are much more set the dial, you know, like we would in Silicon Valley for sure.
I just had Gustav, the CPO and CTO, on the show, and he actually said the most fascinating thing. He said, talk is cheap. And I said, yeah, I agree. And he goes, so we should do more of it. We should have a lot of debate all the time. And I thought that was so interesting in product because I was like, no, like it's about speed of execution. It's about iterate, like go. And he's like, no, talk is cheap. Let's talk lots. Fascinating. Love it. It is.
Well, you've probably also heard the think deeply to move quickly. It's kind of what we're talking about. Yeah.
Same thing?
Same idea. Yeah, like Stripe, Amazon, they believe think deeply to really, so for example, the written narrative is a way to force you to really think things through. And then you're going to move a lot faster.